Over at youmusttry.com, our sister platform, we're on a mission to create an online store filled with products that support our ageing well journey. Starting an online store wasn't part of the plan here at the Aging Project, but we saw a need. And along with our amazing team, we have made it happen, which we are so proud of. The truth is, our buying decisions do matter, perhaps more than we ever realised. For the last 6 months, we've been chatting with brand founders. We're doing the research because there are so many brands and products, it's become overwhelming knowing what to choose. Well, that is how we felt anyway. For nearly every brand we're stocking on You Must Try It, an amazing founder story exists that relates back to their health. It's a story worth sharing, so you can expect to hear these stories today. So let's get started with our first guest, Corbin Halliday from Three Warriors. How did Three Warriors come about as a brand, Corbin?
So how it all started, I worked in the beauty industry for 10 years as a hairdresser, and I actually woke up one day with some pretty crazy migraines, and they're in the back of my head, these headaches, and they were so bad to the point where I stand up and be really dizzy, and I thought, oh, maybe I've got a bit of a virus or something, and you kind of shake it off a bit, take some Panadol or Nurofen or whatever you've got. And it just got worse and worse, and I'd be trying to go to work because I was so busy at the time. And I start blacking out and passing out in the salon.
Oh,
and they take me to hospital, into emergency, and they found that I had blood pressure sitting at 200 over 125. So that's up in quite dangerous. It's like kind of stroke zones, and for a 24-year-old.
And what were you around here, like 20? Yeah, 24. Crazy.
I was 24 at the time, so it's pretty scary. And I just progressively got worse and worse. So over the next 4 years, my health declined. I ended up with chronic nerve pain throughout my arms and my legs and bottom of my feet. And I don't know if anyone's ever had that before, but it's a very, very painful thing. And it just consistently was, 24 hours a day going just pain all the time. I also developed all these other weird little health problems and symptoms, a lot of gut health problems, reflux, all these things that you don't think you're going to get when you're 24 years old. And I was diagnosed with a condition called chronic inflammatory response syndrome. What that is, it's basically an overexposure to toxins. And I was being exposed to black mold in a rental apartment. I actually didn't know it was underneath the floor of my rental apartment at the time.
No.
So black mold is a whole another thing. It's a very nasty bacteria. It shoots spores out in the air, and you're breathing it in. It stores into the tissues in your body. And that's made me very, very unwell. So I had to give up my career, and I had a mortgage to pay. 24 years old and trying to pay a mortgage is not easy. My mum moved into my house and helped me pay my mortgage, and I was bedridden for years and years, and they could not figure out how to get me better. So in that time, I've got red hair, I live in Tasmania. My family are all tan, they're all sun babies, and I'm pale and I never tan. And I was like, I still want to see people, like I'm very social. So I started researching the market, looking for something that was organic in the tanning field. And tried a certified, it wasn't much around, so I tried one in the market. It didn't go very well on my skin. It made me look quite orange, and it was quite powerful, the scent of it. And so this gave me an idea about researching about the ingredients in products and formulations. So I started formulating my own product. And that's how Three Warriors was originally born. I formulated it for myself. It took 2 years to formulate it. And my friend tried it, and she owned a salon at the time. And she's like, I want to stock it at my salon. And the rest is history. We're 5 years into the business now, and we're launching international.
One of the things about a tan that isn't from the sun is always the fade. And what happens, 5 to 7 days after a great tan is the fact it either starts to peel off or you get very blotchy. Tell us how you've combated that with Three Warriors.
It's the ingredient, Shelley. It's all about the ingredients. So I've sourced this beautiful Tasmanian olive oil. It comes from Flinders Island, so off Tassie. These incredible two old women still press the olives themselves. It's like this green goo, and I get it, and it's the most hydrating, incredible ingredient you can put in your skin. So this stops the tan getting dry and the skin cracking off, getting that, we like to call it the crocodile skin look. Also, it doesn't have any thianoxyethanol, any artificial pigments that are in the tanning on the market products. So no nasty chemicals, no artificial dyes or pigments. It's all plant-based, natural, and vegetable derived. So it will never stain your clothes. and it also won't go dry and crackly on the skin.
So tell us about the philosophy behind Three Warriors. What's most important to you about your brand?
The most important thing in my brand is to educate the consumer, so educate the customer, so who's wearing the product, about what you're putting in your skin, what can happen long term with these ingredients that you might be using in your products you don't know about. So educating on what you should know about reading the labels. And also my long-term goal of the whole thing is to make you feel confident in your own skin. Putting something on, it makes you feel confident and be happy and healthy. That's what it's about. You have one life, you look after your body. Your body's, very important to you. So you need it to be healthy.
So this is really exciting to hear that there is now this product which is, as you say, animal cruelty-free, vegan, completely organic, and please say that it smells good too.
It smells amazing. Yeah, that was a really difficult thing when it comes to formulating and using something that's certified organic and finding plant-derived ingredients. I mean, there's not much on the market that you can actually use it's natural and plant-derived. So to have those certifications, like certified Australian toxic-free and certified organic, we need to comply with strict regulations to ensure that each ingredient is safe for you. So I actually chose to use vanilla and lime extract. So it's really subtle, but there is literally no tanning smell in it, the formulation at all.
That was Corbin from Three Warriors. What a story and what a product, which we love. And we're stocking it on You Must Try It. It took him 2 years to create and was born out of his mould poisoning experience. Oh. Now, that's an Australian startup story worth sharing and for all the right reasons. Now, let's meet Nadal Stelio from Recreation Beauty.
So I've always, as you know, been in magazines and I've always been heavily involved in the beauty side of that. And what happened was I really struggled to get pregnant. So when it was about that time I was trying to get pregnant, it just took me so long. And I researched everything and I went to doctors and naturopaths and did the whole thing. And I had unexplained infertility. It wasn't, there was no reason for it. They just say it's unexplained, go away, keep trying.
Which is such a common story, isn't it?
It is. It's actually getting more and more common. And so then I basically just ditched all of the chemicals out of my personal life, because the first thing you see when you are researching is that chemicals may play a part in your infertility. And we're just exposed to so many more of them now than people used to be. And there is a cumulative effect of getting them from your food, through pesticides, your beauty products on your skin, and then household cleaning products and all of that. So I just went completely chemical or toxic chemical free, and remade over all of my cleaning products and ditched every single product in my beauty cabinet, which was quite intense because I was a magazine editor and just had so much product.
It was like that garage sale that all your friends dream of, isn't it?
Yes,
it's like Nadal's opened her wardrobe. This is awesome.
It was boxes and boxes and boxes. But the one thing I couldn't replace, because this was such a long time ago, it was like almost 12, probably longer, 13 years ago now, I couldn't get a beautiful perfume. So there was only, kind of vanilla or patchouli, and it wasn't really sophisticated perfume yet. That was what we call clean today. That was them. And then, I carried on. I just didn't use perfume at all for so many years. And I just really missed it. Like it's such an experience, and it's really that luxury touch you are used to when you're getting dressed. And I really missed it after a few years. So I just started investigating whether I could actually do it in Australia. Find a perfumer who would work with me and make something that didn't compromise on luxury, and was just as beautiful to use as your really expensive designer fragrance, but without all of those nasty chemicals in there.
And you have created a really extensive range, and it caters for everyone. I was just on your website and went through the quiz and the questionnaire, and I have found my perfect fragrance. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you came up with those different scents and different notes?
Well, I knew that I really wanted to make something that was gardenia and jasmine based, because that is my absolute favorite.
I was. There you go.
My absolute favorite scent. And that actually took such a long while to make. We didn't even launch with it because I just wanted it to be 100% perfect. And I actually launched with it, I think maybe a year or a year and a half after we launched the first few fragrances. So I knew I wanted that one. I knew I needed something that was rosy, because everyone loves roses. It's just such a fail-safe. And then I also... I work with perfumers. So I work with these amazing perfumers. They create scents for huge companies. I was very lucky to work with them, and we just worked together, and I just tried little things about what I liked and what I didn't like, and we just narrowed it down, and I ended up with a musky scent, a musky sandalwood, a fig and citrus, a beautiful peony, and then the rose and the gardenia.
I'm sure you all remember the chat we had with Dr. Anna Quebecer, aka the Girlfriend Doctor, on the Aging Project podcast. There was a few things I could not get off my mind. Anyone remember the conversation about the lips below your hips? Well, Anna Quebecer has come up with her own great products that are going to help us in our aging well journey. So here she is again to chat to us about a few products we will be stocking at You Must Try It. So, Dr. Ed, if you wouldn't mind starting just explaining your story as a woman who has been through menopause not once, but twice.
Yes. Yeah. So I was diagnosed with early menopause and infertility when I was 39 years old. I was really struggling and exhausted and all of the symptoms, right? It was just really dramatic. And it took me on a journey around the world. Actually, I ended up in Melbourne, Australia. And it was just an amazing experience. Actually, that was one of our stops on the journey around the world, this healing journey I went on. And as a result of that healing journey, Shelley, it brought in to my doctor's bag other traditional medicines, philosophies, practices, and mindsets that was really healing. And it helped me reverse early menopause and spontaneously become pregnant with a child I was told I would never have.
That is unbelievable.
Yes, I delivered this baby at 41 years old. So now I'm 55 with a 14-year-old, and longevity and health is even more important now.
You've also got products that you love to have. And I assume that these don't matter whether you are doing the carnivore, whether you are on keto green. Maca powder is obviously a great one. And you have this, and you put this, you have this in everything, no matter what plan or day you might be on.
Yeah, I really do recommend it because my maca is also combined with 30 other superfoods. Mm-hmm. So it's a combination from my journey around the world. Honestly, that's where that came from. So I attribute some of these healing foods to helping me reverse that early menopause. Mm-hmm. And now I know that the combination really improves our DHEAS level, decreases inflammation, helps with blood sugar stabilization. So there's been a lot of amazing results from the combination. And yeah, to help your body, especially when we start fasting more and we're eating, everything we're eating has some type of exposure. We really have to be as organic and non-GMO. But I go out to eat, but I make sure that I detox and support my detox pathways regularly too, and watch that. It's important to do that. Mm-hmm. So the Mighty Maca Plus is the powder that's combined, and it looks like Fear Factor. It's green, but it tastes really good. I mean, I have 2-year-olds that are drinking it, and it really is good. So that's the alkalinizing super adrenal adaptogenic superfood combination.
Okay. And then product number 3, is it Julva cream?
So here's my Julva lip duo for our lips above and below the hips. Oh. So we have Julva for our upper lips and Julva for our lower lips. And this, I know, right?
I knew we were going to go there eventually. I'm just crossing my legs now.
I know, it's so good. We could do a pelvic floor exercise is what we're talking about it. It's so important. Our pelvic health, I always say clitoris to anus, the most valuable real estate of our body. It is important till we die because there's nothing that creates more disruption in life too. If we're having yeast infections, incontinence issues, hemorrhoids, we want to keep the clitoris healthy. We want to keep this area healthy and functioning. So have Julva. and you can apply it externally. You can put it on your finger, put it on toilet paper, wipe with it. You can put it on, vibrator. You can put it on as a lubricant during sex. And it has DHEA. It has plant stem cells from the alpine rose, and it has emu oil, coconut oil, and some shea butter. So it's very nourishing, and it will help your body regenerate its own natural moisture. I have a 65-year-old patient that's been using Julva for a few years now, and she went to her gynecologist. She texted me afterwards. She goes, Dr. Anna, my GYN says I've got the vagina of a 25-year-old. She's 65. 3 years ago, she got married, and they have an active sex life. He's 10 years younger. And she said, she goes, I don't think our relationship would be the same if I didn't have Julva.
For me, listening to these stories reinforces what we've heard from so many of our experts in season 1 and 2, and that is what we put on our skin matters, and reducing our toxic load is something really worth thinking about. Our fourth and final guest is James Doona from the Foot Collective. So, with a foot pun ready to go, let's jump on in. Tell me, they probably are the thing that we take most for granted, aren't they? I mean, you're so lucky to have a pair to start with, and to keep use of them throughout our life. As we've learned over the Aging Project with lots of our guests, mobility is the most important thing, and it all starts with your little piggies, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the feet are our foundation for movement, and unfortunately, they do seem to be the most misunderstood and mistreated part of our bodies in today's day and age. And most people they tend to get ignored until they start hurting. And when they start hurting, you absolutely cannot ignore them, because you need your feet for pretty much everything you do throughout your day. And that's one of the most common things I hear from my clients and our customers as well, is that, they just didn't even think about their feet until now they're thinking about it every day, and it's always front of mind. And that's a big reason why, like, going through my physio career, going through uni, we learnt very little about foot health and foot function, and going through, treating people in private practice and doing chronic pain rehab programs, I realized that no one was really even thinking about their feet and how that would affect other areas of their body. So that's a big reason why I got into it all.
Luckily, the Foot Collective has come up with ways that even if you are stuck in an office day in and day out, and you do have to wear your shoes on public transport, that there are things that we can do, even sitting here like we are today having a podcast, that are going to help our feet and, of course, get us to a place where perhaps it's going to help with all the other ailments that we have going on in our body, whether it is sore back, shoulders, necks. It's all coming from the feet. So, James, all right, we've done our 5 minutes in the park on nice soft turf, or in our yard on nice soft ground. What else can we do to get our feet ready for more action?
Yeah, so, that starting with that very gentle movement, like walking, soft place, is a great place to start. We've got a few tools that we like to, you could think of them as a progression. So wild toes, I'm actually wearing them right now. So that's just a toe spacer. Basically, long story short, narrow shoes will squish our toes in together like this. And what they should be like is splayed out like that. And that's really important for balance and how the arch in our foot functions. So this little toe spacer, very simple, but just helps you reclaim that sort of natural alignment. This is probably one of my favorite tools, is like a hacky sack or a foot bag, which most people are familiar with. But this is actually an amazing tool to, if you just imagine my hand as a foot, to actually develop that dexterity of the toes.
James, is there sort of a common complaint that women particularly come to you with regarding their feet?
Yeah, the most common one would be plantar fasciitis. And that's an interesting one, because it's the most common treatment is to support the foot more. The pathophysiology, or why it happens, can get pretty deep, and there's a number of different reasons. But mostly the foot needs more strength, more mobility, especially through the toes, and better splay through the foot. But a lot of that gets missed when you just focus on support and cushioning more. And it turns into this cycle of, your foot hurts, let's support it more, let's add more cushioning. And then, that feels better for 6 months, a year. And then, now it hurts again. So let's do more support, more cushioning. Whereas a lot of our clients, and one in particular, I can think of, who was a customer first, she bought our kits and she had 20 years of plantar fasciitis pain and had been in that cycle of sort of more and more support and just never actually solving the root cause. She bought our kit and, it's not an overnight fix by any means, but over a matter of months, she started to notice the difference. And then she eventually completely eliminated her plantar fasciitis. And she's since started working with me for individual one-on-one physio sessions just to resolve a little bit of calf tightness that was still there. But the last session I had with her, she told me she went for this big 12-kilometer beach walk through the hinterland and in her barefoot shoes. And she, felt completely fine, no plantar fasciitis, barely any calf tightness. And it's often the simplest approaches and the simplest things can make the biggest difference, but it just takes time, it takes consistency, and it takes effort. But it's definitely worth it in the long run, because nothing else can really help your function and your pain other than actually just training and working your body to improve.
We've realised listening to brand stories is powerful, and I hope you feel the same way. We come away feeling more educated and informed, which always allows you to be more mindful in your buying decision. It gets you thinking, which means we stop buying out of habit or price or because the product is easily accessible. That is what has happened for me. The products I buy today are very different to the products I was buying 12 months ago, and I can honestly say I feel so much better for it. If you're interested in buying any of the products mentioned, please go to unexplained.com and become a part of our sister community, where we'll be sharing more founder stories and supporting your aging well journey as best we can. We are now officially open, so come and check us out at youmusttryit.com. Till next time, I'm Shelley Craft, and this is the Aging Project Podcast.